One thing, by the way, we should just do a quick shout out is that they have been, to date, wonderfully transparent. I mean, they've given us an absolute clear blueprint to follow in terms of constructing practice tests and practice materials and knowing what's to come. There is still one giant unknown, and let's come back to that in a minute. But go ahead, Amy. Oh.
So let's talk. We know that things are changing. You described a lot that College Board has been really clear about signaling about what's changing. What's staying the same?
Your scoring is staying the same. You still have the same scoring system. Your content is actually staying the same. You are going to be tested on the same knowledge skills that you were earlier. Your math still has your student produced responses, and it still has your multiple choice questions. So all of this still remains the same.
However, with math, though, it's worthy of note, they will have access to a calculator for all of the math questions, right? So that does kind of speak to even test design, though, right? Like that if now we knew before that if you have a no calculator section, there was some thought or deliberation about what we want to give you when you do have a calculator versus when you do not. So now at least students will have access to a calculator throughout the math, which for some of our students, that can be, a useful, helpful, or certainly comforting thing to know that they have access to, correct?
And the overall driver of this thing, back to the practical, keeping this as student friendly as possible is clearly one of their goals. I can tell you, having spent years and years prepping folks for the GRE, that on-screen calculator is of dubious convenience.
This is true. It's perception of versus reality, right, Neill?
Yeah.
Right. And we certainly do expect students to bring their calculators, but I think that the on-screen calculator for the digital SAT will be Desmos, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And I've had math teachers, actually even junior high math teachers, asking me about that, because for them, they know now if we're preparing our students for a Desmos, like using Desmos, that has value in a few years when students take this new test.
I think what's interesting is everything that's changing, and I think it's just changing for the better. I think all of y'all know my love for digital testing, and I was most excited with this announcement. You can use the calculator throughout your math section. You can get in your own calculator. You can get in your own device. So it's just keeping the child so much more comfortable within his own zone. Since it's digital, you will get your scores back within days. You're not waiting for weeks to get your scores back. So all of these changes, you have more time per question. These are all good changes.
Sure. There's even other changes that we have yet to see how they'll play out. But in theory, students don't have to take the test at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's entirely possible that schools can run multiple administrations in a day. They can have some morning, they can have some mid-afternoon, they can have some afternoon sessions. We can see that there will be plenty of opportunities for students, if everything rolls out the way we anticipate, to test when they are awake, not when their proctors are awake.
Yeah, and to take it more frequently, right? So now each individual sitting for the test, if you have the opportunity to pop back in a few weeks later, is much lower stakes. There's a lot less pressure when there's only given a set number of times a year, and you're like, oh my God, it's this Saturday, I got to eat right and get a good night's sleep. You still got to do that. But when we only have a couple of shots at it, then those shots become very weighty indeed. But when you can pop in and you can take it more frequently, in a test optional world where I'll give it a shot, see how it goes. That's a lot easier and, again, more user-friendly.
We hope you enjoyed this video as much as we did. You'll find plenty more like it when you explore the Test and the Rest channel. Be sure to comment, share, and subscribe for a constant stream of insights into learning, education, testing, and admissions. For full podcasts and amazing resources, find us at testsandtherest.com.